JoAnn Handley is a rare breed, one of a handful of Depression-area Scottsdale natives who has spent most of her life living, working, and volunteering in her hometown. Born at Good Samaritan Hospital in Phoenix, since Scottsdale didn't have its own hospital until 1962, JoAnn was the oldest daughter of Lester Mowry and Dorothy Dawn Mowry. Her parents had both attended grade school in the Little Red Schoolhouse, where JoAnn now spends much of her volunteer time. Her mother Dorothy died when JoAnn was 5, and her father Lester, an electrician, married Scottsdale native LaBeula Steiner. JoAnn grew up on unpaved West Main Street to attend Scottsdale Grammar School, now known as Loloma School, and home to the Scottsdale Artists School. She had a short walk past an alfalfa field and a dairy farm. During elementary school, JoAnn was active in the Campfire Girls. JoAnn remembers being able to walk down the middle of East Main Street, never having to worry about car traffic. She often saw friends riding their horses to the handful of shops and the post office on Brown Avenue. Events in Scottsdale during her childhood consisted of the Maypole dance at school, the annual ice cream social at the Methodist Church. Residents cooled off with a swim at Tempe Beach, or in movie theaters in Phoenix, long before Scottsdale had its own swimming pool or cineplexes. During her 4 years at Scottsdale High School, JoAnn was vice president of the Girls League, president of the Beaver Boosters, active in the Latin and Spanish clubs, and served on the yearbook staff. After graduation in 1949, she attended Phoenix College, taking courses to prepare her entry into nurses training. She graduated from the Good Samaritan Hospital School of Nursing as a registered nurse, then stayed on at the hospital as a labor and delivery nurse. She was working as a nurse in a Phoenix doctor's private practice when she met Don Handley. They married in 1958. Don's career in the United States Army took JoAnn away from Scottsdale between 1958 and 1970. They moved throughout the United States and to Europe, and their son Stuart was born in 1960. When they returned to Scottsdale in 1970, Stuart enrolled in Paiute Elementary School, where JoAnn volunteered in the school's library, then in the nurse's office. When Stuart graduated from Scottsdale High School in 1978, he became the third generation of his family to graduate from the school, which was then closed in 1983. In 1969, while JoAnn was away as an Army wife, her family, parents Lester and LaBeula Mowry, and Aunt Thelma Holbeck, had helped establish the Scottsdale Historical Society, along with Scottsdale pioneers Mort Kimsey and Pansy Beauchamp. Within a few years of her return to Scottsdale, JoAnn joined her family in the Scottsdale Historical Society and became its volunteer secretary, a post she has held for 27 years, with a 2-year break to serve as its president. Thoroughly enjoying her volunteer work with the Historical Society, JoAnn was recruited by the Scottsdale School District to serve as a part-time school nurse in 1978. Until she retired in 1991, she had worked in every school in the district, getting to know countless teachers and students. JoAnn is a walking encyclopedia of Scottsdale history, particularly because she lived it, seen it, and enjoyed it. She has served as the volunteer curator and archivist at the Scottsdale Historical Museum in the Little Red Schoolhouse since it opened as a showcase of community history back in 1991. In this unpaid role, she's given tours to thousands of school children and adults, trained volunteer docents, given dozens of speeches to civic groups, and advised authors, researchers, and genealogists. She's also arranged, either directly or indirectly, for many significant items to be donated to the museum. Items from the Valley Ho and Trader Vic's, the chandelier from Goldwater's department store, photos from residents participating in the Scanning Saturdays program, and numerous items from Scottsdale High School alumni. JoAnn also represents the Historical Society by serving on the Northeast Cultural Alliance Committee, the Historic Register and Education Subcommittees of the Scottsdale Historic Preservation Commission, and the Steering Committee for the Civic Center Mall Improvement Project. She's also served on the Historic Preservation of Old Town Committee and the Scottsdale Downtown Task Force and the City of Scottsdale's 50th Anniversary Planning Committee. She and her sisters also helped her mother organize the annual Old Timers Reunion that the Mowrys started in 1962 to celebrate their 25th wedding anniversary, bringing together Scottsdale pioneer families and early Scottsdale High alumni. She's also assisted the past President's Council of the Scottsdale Area Chamber of Commerce in researching the history presented at each year's Scottsdale History Hall of Fame induction dinner. JoAnn is adamant about the importance of collecting the bits and pieces of Scottsdale history. She says we need to preserve what we can of the history of Scottsdale. Much has been lost. Therefore, it is important to save what is left. Now, this includes photographs, documents, newspaper articles, as well as artifacts and historically significant sites.